Okay, we are live again. Sorry about that, everyone. We're having technical difficulties. Thanks, Jess, for being flexible. So, for those of you who are just joining, this is a special live stream Wednesday where I get to interview Jessica Pilgrim from Pilgrimage Coaching. And let's just jump right into it. Sorry about that, you guys who were on. Hopefully you can jump back on, but we also have the recording. So those of you who aren't joining live, you can watch the recording. So let me start by introducing Jess. Jess and I met through the Proctor Gallagher world, Bob Proctor, and we've both done some work and some coaching in Bob Proctor's circle, and we got a hold of each other because we were in a private group. So we've done some group work together ourselves. And Jess has some leadership skills and some special gifts that she now shares with you as a coach. But she's been doing work in leadership for a really long time. So Jess, why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself and tell everybody a little bit about what you do.
Yeah, absolutely. It's my passion to help people figure out their path in life. So my title is Create Your Image with Pilgrimage Coaching, because I help people create the image of who they are, who they're called to be, basically who Christ is calling them to be, not the person in the lane beside them. So we even talk about the comparison trap a lot, because I found myself along my journey of figuring out my path, comparing a lot. So a lot of the things that I teach, not only do I give people the skills to get through it, but I've been down those roads myself. So I have a lot of personal experience with what I teach. Makes a
Oh
difference, I
man,
feel.
it's huge. I mean, comparison, I used to compare myself all of the time, and I never felt good enough. And we were talking about, self-worth before we went on live the first time. And, I didn't have self-worth. I had to learn how to really believe in myself. Um, why don't we, because you have a lot of experience, why don't we go into a little bit of, because you also do Arbonne, right? Can you talk about Arbonne and your experience with Arbonne and your leadership? Let's see here. Excuse me, I'm getting an error message there. Looks good. Okay, and the leadership skills that you've built. You've been with Arbonne for years.
Yeah, it's coming on. Gosh, I don't even know how many years that's in this minute. But yeah, I am a regional vice president with Arbonne. Bottom line, that means I've helped a whole lot of people, not only with their health and with some skin issues that they've gone through personally, but I've helped build a lot of leaders in the industry as well. So I've been in this a skinny minute. I've been building leaders for a really long time, and now I'm serving people outside that Arbonne circle. I'm serving people who have their own businesses outside of Arbonne, or even those who are stay-at-home moms in their next chapter. They don't know what it is. Maybe they're an empty nester now and they don't know what their next chapter is. Or perhaps it's the CEO that doesn't know how to shift in these times when you've done the same thing and it's worked for you for 20 some odd years. But now things are shifting and it's like, oh, what do I do? This is new territory for me. So I love helping people shift and work through those challenges.
And you go really deep with people, right? I mean, it's not just surface stuff here. You're going deep in helping with long-term changes.
Oh yeah, it is a passion of mine. I like to call it Band-Aid effect. I don't like Band-Aids. I would rather get to the core of an issue. And those of you who know me from the health and wellness background, I get to the core of a health concern instead of Band-Aiding it with what's called a pill. Because the thing is, the pill is not going to work forever. But getting to the source of the issue and actually healing the core, healing those wounds from the core, healing those old paradigms and those old habitual ways that you've been thinking of yourself, which aren't even true for the most part. That's what I love, helping people down to the core and shifting it, because otherwise you're just band-aiding it and it's not going to stick.
No, Band-Aids don't work. They're meant to be temporary. So I was thinking about it, and you've been in leadership for it's been about at least a decade and a half.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's
You're
been a skinny
frozen.
minute. It's
Yeah,
funny,
you
most
were
people look at my
frozen
picture
there.
and they're like, well, uh-oh. I hope it was a good frozen.
It was. You were smiling very nicely.
Still freezing?
Yeah, we'll see what. So people look at your picture and what? I missed that part.
Yeah, I mean, I look young in some pictures, but the thing is, when you've been in this for 15 years, regardless of when you start, whatever the calendar says, there's sometimes a lot of wisdom and balled up in a whatever the calendar age is. So it's funny.
Yeah, but I'm not gonna, yeah. And I know how old you are. You're not a 20-something baby. So you have experience. So let me tell you though, and also, as a coach, I'm in coaching because I've helped people with things that I've had to work on myself. So let's just really quickly, because I just want to establish a little bit of experience. So for people who don't know you, you went through your own health journey. And we'll mention Arbonne because, you're still regional vice president.
Mm-hmm.
Can you talk a little bit about that for those who haven't seen you before?
Yeah, health journey wise, oh my goodness. So started with cystic acne because it's what you could see on the outside. So that's what was lowering my confidence tremendously, because again, I was comparing myself to the lanes beside me and these people who had beautiful skin. They've never had a pimple in their life, and yet I had cystic acne that it hurt to talk all over my back and chest. So the Band-Aid version is, let's get some skincare. Let's try some chemical peels. Let's do some things externally to fix the situation. But what really needed to happen, and what I eventually figured out, I need to go on the inside. I need to clear up my gut. Which turns out my whole immune system was flip-flopped. My hormones were off. I had PCOS. My adrenals were shot. Therefore, my thyroid didn't work. And the cortisol and the insulin were cattywampus. So the thing is, I learned in that particular time of my life, health-wise, to go to the core. That's also why I love when people get to the core of not only health concerns, but what's going on internally. I've had to get rid of a lot of toxic people in my life, and yeah, it's hard, but it's a matter of knowing what's right for me. And when, in my opinion, you have a God calling on your life and he's asking you to get rid of some people, you need to do it no matter how much it hurts. So I've had to go through that. So I even coach people through that process because, again, I've been there. And I've coached people through successes in life, huge successes, quantum leaps that they knew that they could do. Kind of. It's kind of like, I have this idea, but can I really achieve it? So yeah, I help them smash those goals too. So all the way from the turns to getting to the core of who I am. Yeah.
And I know we have a bit of, our connection is not that great, but if it gets to the point, we'll do a recording later and we'll put it up. But I do want, since I have you here, let's just keep moving forward. I do want to touch on the fact that you do faith-based coaching, right? You guide people So why don't you talk a little bit about that? What makes you different in your coaching and that aspect of it?
Yeah, well, I am a Christian, so again, it's my background. It's how I grew up. It's what I know, and therefore it's what I teach, and it's what I have a passion for. And even the book I wrote, it's not only a journal, but it's a devotion and a guide to help people get unstuck. So, and you've heard me say a lot of times, even in this live, a calling, because I do feel like God is calling each of us to grow and complete our task for Him in this life. But we've got to know what that calling is. And it's wrapped around the passions that you have and the things that you're naturally good at. And the thing is, you are naturally good at a lot of things. You might have been listening to a lot of lies and you think that you might not be good at things, but that's what I help people unravel, and that onion of realizing who you are. Who is God calling you to be? Let's slow down and listen to that still small voice that we say and really hear what He's trying to say.
You mentioned the book, the journal. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, it's called Create Your Image. I call it a journey journal because in life it's a journey. So, and plus two, Pilgrim, the name of the coaching business that I have, pilgrimage according to, Wikipedia. It's a journey in which you go to find yourself, and yet you come back to your life, your reality. In other words, your kiddos, your spouse, you come back to your life, but you're a different person. You're a new version of you, kind of like you're the 2.0 of you. The bigger, the better. It's for changing who you are. We're enhancing who you are. And through those steps in the Create Your Image journal, it helps you get unstuck because you realize who you are. But the thing is, some people need more than just a journal. And that's why I'm here to help guide personally too. I do personal coaching and group coaching for those who need a little more than just devotion, a journal. Because not everybody is dedicated enough to do the do that's in that book. But when you have a coach, things are different.
Accountability is everything. Don't do it alone, you guys. I mean, we're not here to do things alone. I mean, even people who are very successful, if you look at them, they have a team. They have someone helping them. They have mentors. They're not doing it alone. Ken wrote here, being a faith-based coach sets you apart, Jessica, and that's what will be appealing for many people. I agree. That's why I really wanted to emphasize that as well. I think, Jess, you're the only coach that I know, and my circle's getting wider all of the time, that is a faith-based coach. And it's, there's a niche of people. There's people looking for someone who coaches just like that. I do want to bring up, before I forget, let's make sure to have that link. Maybe you can send me the link or put it in the comments for people who do want to buy the journal alone, or they can contact you about coaching and journaling, of course, because journaling, although it is very helpful for some people, if you have a change, doing it alone, it doesn't work. So you need someone to help you. But why don't you give me that link or put the link in the comments later, so people can get a hold of that. But I do want to mention, a lot of you, so those of you who, this is the first time that you've seen Jess, you can connect with her on Facebook, LinkedIn. You might have more room on LinkedIn at this point. I put that in the links. but you've gone through your own journeys, and I do want you to touch on something that you went through recently, because a lot of other people have been affected. We have, we're going through this pandemic. Some parts of the world are getting better, and we're definitely seeing a lot of better things around here in my neck of the woods. But Jess just went through something big, and I watched her this whole time, and having faith. I mean, that really made all of the difference. Watching Jess, I just admired how she handled the situation, and stayed resilient through. So can you share your story with us?
Yeah, absolutely. And it's a story of, it's my brother who went through COVID. So, all right, timeline. January 4th, attracted COVID. And then it turned into pneumonia. A week later, he went into the local hospital. A week later, nothing later. 5 hours later, they're like, this is not working. We're going to airlift you to a different state. In ICU in a different state for 58 days. And I remember all of these timelines being updated by family members of, oh, he's going through this now. He's going through this. But at no point did I ever lose my faith. I had very much, it was this incredible peace around all. It was just a matter of, oh, your brother's here now. And it's like, okay, that's just a stepping stone. God's going to do something big through this. And then I got to, contact out the next step. Oh, he's on the ventilator. All right, God, this is kind of scary. What are you doing? I have peace around this, but it's like, what's the next step? And then the next step was being airlifted to another state. All right, God, I'm packing my backpack and we're going to drive over to the state that he's in. And I don't mean to be laughing through this out of heartlessness, but it's out of peace. And it's so many people would have been losing their mind at this point, but I was just like, while scared, I was at peace. And I do believe that is fully because of my faith. I mean, I know that Jesus had the situation. I mean, he was doing something really big with it. We just didn't know what it was going to be. And we still don't know the complete impact of this. So bottom line, end of through 58 days later in ICU, lots of touch and goes. I now have heard there were 5 instances where the physicians didn't think that he was going to make it. And there were 5 phone calls, family members saying, you need to say your goodbyes. I didn't hear of any of those things because I think God was protecting me. And I think he was protecting a lot of other family members who didn't need to hear that at time. But that's where peace resides. That's where faith comes in. And faith is so huge. If you don't have faith, you're going to live in fear. And there's so many people that could have gone through the situation and had a completely different perspective about it. But because I was beyond prayerful through it from an appreciation of thank you for him, it was very much gratitude, prayer, this entire situation. Bottom line, he is doing really well. So 58 days in ICU, he lost 52 pounds. So a lot of it was muscle atrophy and things of that nature. So he did have to learn how to re-walk. He is with a speech therapist, he's with an occupational therapist. But the beautiful thing about what God does, he's still a miracle worker. This is the part of who he is. He performs miracles for people. We've just got to slow down and pay attention to them. So what I recognize as a miracle is not only is my brother home and safe with his family, he walked out of that hospital, out of the ICU. He went to PT in that particular state that he was flown to for way than the doctor thought here. And he is now only needing to see the PT and those type specialists 3 times a week right now. He's no longer on oxygen. He never even took an oxygen tank home. And a lot of people through these situations even have to carry that oxygen tank with them for a long time. But it's like God just cut those chains off. And it was like, all right, here we are. And the whole time, it reminded me of what one of the things Steve Jobs is known for being quoted. And I know I'm not going to exactly correct. The idea is we can't connect the dots going forward. We can only connect them going backward. So the whole time it was just like, okay, God, what's the next step? What dot are you making? Where are you going? It's going to create something beautiful when you're done. I can't see it right now, but that's okay. I know you're doing something big. And right now, there's even talk of this turning into a movie. So to bless so many other people, and the thing is, regardless of whatever comes of it from this point, the community that he lives in is stronger because of the story and the journey that he and his family have been on. The strength of the family members that took care of him 24/7 throughout this entire process, mainly his wife, she has grown tremendously. I mean, to see all of these people dive into their faith and come together as a community because of one situation, it's beautiful just to see how it unfolds. But that requires a whole lot of faith. That's the opposite of fear. And with faith, there's peace.
There sure is. And the whole time, we were talking through this, you had faith and you just knew it. You would just say it. I just know it. And there's something beautiful that's going to come out of this. I don't know if that's the exact words that you were saying, but you just knew, and you were praying, and you weren't fearful. And I remember you even talking about, people around you saying that you're the rock, because you had so much faith. And here he is needing just a few days of PT when there were times when the doctors didn't even think he was going to make it. So let me read here. So Ken wrote, what happened to Jessica's brother is a testimony of her and her family's faith, the power of prayer and the belief in the people who were taking care of Jason. Yeah, I can't even imagine, his wife, you don't go through something like that and not grow or change. And, to me, for the better, you become more resilient. So, I hope that's the case for her. But you'll keep us posted if a movie is going to be made and comes out, right?
Yeah. Let's just get their connections in place right now in order to make that come to full fruition.
Well, yeah. Well, you let me know, and I'll spread the word. And I'm sure you have a lot of people, and especially the community, behind you to get that out there. We do. So, thank you guys for watching. Ken, I know that the feed has been broken a little bit. Maybe you can leave your comment and let us know how we're coming across. But we can do this again another time, or maybe record it so that we're clear. But I believe we've been able to really, still get the message through. Okay, so Ken had wrote, we can't always see or understand the reasons why things happen the way they do. It's only when we look back later on that we begin to understand how it has impacted our lives. Yeah, I mean, just going back to the Steve Jobs quote, I live by that quote. I mean, it's just, I watch and observe things, and I've learned to not live in fear. And some people will say detached to a sense, but really just watch with curiosity, interest, with faith, and things always turn out. Plans may change, goals don't. And there is a bigger picture to hold on to all of the time. So, okay, so you're going to get me that link to the journal. And let's go over again. I know that we talked about, I just want to make sure here, because we'll wrap it up. You know, I want to make sure to talk to you guys who are on, about the people who Jessica works with. Because Jess, she talked a lot about self-worth, and really going deep with people. And so do you want to give a little bit of an overview again of how you work with people, so that if this resonates with someone, if it's a fit, they can get a hold of you?
Absolutely. So what I offer are personal coaching options as well as group coaching options. But I love helping people realize their self-worth. Even if you have if you know that you're worthy a little bit, or if you don't know that you're worthy of anything at all, I love to help you figure out, realize your self-worth, realize how worth you are in this world. And through that, I help you realize your passion, help you realize your purpose in life. And through that, then we can reach these goals that you have, these dreams that you have, these things that you think are just whimsical. But yet, if God put them in your heart, He's going to give you the means to make them happen. So, again, it's helping people with their worth, their purpose, and help them take the action steps to achieve whatever their desire is, whatever's in their heart.
Okay. All right. You guys heard it. So if this sounds like a fit, get a hold of Jessica, and you guys can have, don't you give free discovery sessions, or what, don't you give one-on-ones to see if you're a fit? Do you charge for those? Tell me about that. Tell us.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because we need to meet each other. We need to find out what your goals are and learn about each other, for sure.
Well, I missed a little bit. So how long is the session, and then is it free?
Yes, it is free for the consult, and 15 to 30 minutes. It depends on, some people like to talk for 30 minutes. Some people are good after 10 minutes. I respect whatever time frame the person has, and in their sharing with me of who they are and what their goals are and where they feel stuck. So we can get down to the bottom of why they feel stuck. And most of the time it's a worthy issue. It's a confidence, worth, realizing your purpose. So again, it's getting to the core and changing those old paradigms, those old habitual ways that aren't serving them.
And what's the best way for someone to get hold of you?
Yeah, direct message is easy on Facebook or on LinkedIn. So I know this podcast is going to be streaming on both. So under Facebook, I'm under Jessica Crow Pilgrim. On LinkedIn, it's just Jessica Pilgrim. And my email is jessica@boldllc.net. So Jessica at BOLDLC.net.
Okay,
that's always an easy one too. If you are not on either of those.
Okay, well, I'll put it here in the comments. You were broken up a little bit. Thank you everyone for joining us. Jess, thank you for joining me. You stay on, and we'll put some links here in the comments. All right, you guys, have a great day, and we'll see you soon.